Put simply, you have a lack of regular recurring revenue, which is when you've got clients paying for your services every single month, no matter what. And that type of setup in a business, particularly a freelance videography business, can be the difference between having a successful one and one that actually ends up failing. Now that's because you'll be experiencing what I did, which is this feast or famine, where some months are really, really busy. That's when you've got all this cash flow coming in and things are looking great. And then you've got other months, probably like December, January time particularly, that are dead and you've literally got no shoots on whatsoever. I remember that between December and January one year, I had one film shoot on and that made me probably a total of like £300. And I was just thinking, how could I possibly create consistency out of this? And when I spoke to friends in the industry and other people, it was just a case of, that's just how it is. You know, you just have quiet months and that's just how it is. But there is no consistency whatsoever. And that lack of consistency can kill businesses. So I went away and looked at how other industries from outside video production solve similar problems. And I developed a system called the RCP. And it works the same as a retainer system, just more bespoke to videographers. And it works on getting clients to pay you a set fee every single month. Now, obviously there's loads of challenges with this. Every project is vastly different, so how can you keep a uniform price strategy? There's questions over quantity versus quality, and there's also need in the understanding of whether or not that's the right fit for businesses as well. Now below I've linked our free training event, but that is around about 2 hours long. So over this video, I'm just gonna summarize some tips that makes that strategy successful, why it's important, some things that you can develop yourself. But if you do have the spare time, then make sure you register for one of those events and take full advantage of that training, and we'll show you exactly how to take a client into that process and get them to sign up on multi-year contracts. So what's important to understand about retainer models is that it's a trade of services in terms of money. So there's various different ways you can do this, and actually the bigger our production company has grown over time, we've adapted this more and more. So there's kind of two main areas that I'm going to focus on for this video. The first is going to be our regular monthly recurring revenue, and the second is going to be our master contract agreement. So I'll start with the master contract agreement because that's actually quite simple. It lends itself more to bigger businesses, despite it being more simple, but that's because it's based on your track record and the business's trust with you. And a master contracts agreement is effectively saying that you're going to offer your services at this rate, or you're committing to do X amount per month for this price. And that might sound something like this. So let's say for argument's sake, Perspective Studios charges $1,000 a day for filming and $1,000 a day for editing. With this master contract agreement, that client is committing to you being the sole supplier, so you have exclusivity for a period of, let's say, 12 months. Now, with that, we're then going to probably discount that rate and say on the basis of us securing over $100,000 worth of projects throughout the year, we will give you the rate of minus, let's say, 20%. So that then starts to look like Perspective Studios agrees to give the client a day rate of $800 per day of filming and $800 per day of editing, on the basis that the client will spend more than $100,000 with them in this 12-month period. If the client fails to spend that amount with them, they will be invoiced for the discount rate, or you would have certain tiers to it. If they spend above $150,000 with this company, then we will give them a further reduced rate of XYZ. So it encourages them to spend more with you. That process is relatively simple, but the company that you're dealing with has to put a lot of trust into you, and that's where your track record comes into it. The RCP system, on the other hand, is a little bit more complex and bespoke to your current needs. So whether you're a one-man band or whether or not you've got a team of people, you can adapt it, and it's very scalable and can be manipulated to fit your business, but it's a little bit more difficult to kind of put together in the first place, which is why the training on this is so long. The easiest way to understand it is by having a bulk package discount. If you're going to the gym or you're buying multiple items, whether it's on Amazon or wherever it is, if you go into a camera retailer and say, I'm going to buy 5 cameras from you, what discount can you do? They'll generally be able to reduce that because you're spending so much with them. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. And this works really well for people who are working on day rates, people who are working on value-based pricing and kind of projects where there's lots of additional costs. Then there's two areas that I want you to think about here. The first area is with the additional costs. So that might be music licensing, equipment rental, various other things. Put that in a sub-clause of your contract that just says these things are in addition and they'll be priced on a per project basis. So you're basically giving them a discount on your day rates, similar to the master agreement. And again, don't forget that, yes, we are discounting the price here, but that's because we're expecting the client to come back to you every single month of the year. So they're going to be sending you a huge amount of volume. So you'll be able to afford to give them a discount. Because I would challenge you at the moment and ask you, how many of your clients come back and visit you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times per year? Not very many. I would have thought most of them probably come back and visit you somewhere between 2 and 4 times a year on average. So we're trying to bring that volume in from a place that otherwise it didn't exist. And we're going to be creating a regular monthly payment from that client into your bank account for you agreeing to this package effectively. And it's up to you how that package looks like. And again, in this 2-hour training, I'm really going to break down what those packages do look like. Initially, we actually started to do ours based on the quantity of output. So it would be, with us, we would produce, let's say, 20 big videos for you and 30 small videos for you over the course of the year. And we did that for a couple of years. And the reason I chuckled is because now our business has grown to a point where we want to focus on quality. So we do it more on a token allowance, which again, I kind of explain later on. So it's really how you manipulate this into your business and make it more consistent. And like I said, if you're using day rates at the moment, that's going to be pretty simple because then you're just pretty much trading your time in terms for those monthly payments. So you just want to work out how much time do you want to give them a month. You say you commit to X, Y, Z, and then go from there. Now, for my value-based pricing people who every project is completely different and you're kind of basing it on how much value they see in you, that's really tricky when you're starting out. And actually, I would factor that into your day rates. So it always comes back to a price at the end of the day. So even if you're pricing based on value, I want you to put together a package. Think about your ideal client, or think about a client that you think would want to use you more, and start to think about, okay, well, what would the most valuable package to them look like? Pull together a package, put a cost associated with the value you're putting into that package, and then just divide that by 12, which is obviously one payment for every month, and then pitch that to the client as well. So this can still work for everyone who's pricing slightly differently. It does definitely become easier if you work on day rates, but if you're working on value-based pricing, then just bring that into a day rate kind of form. And anyone who's charging extras for equipment rental and all of those things, just put that in a clause in the contract. This is a monthly fee at a minimum with these additions on top, these kind of add-ons, if you like. If you were in a position where you make $2,000 one month, $5,000 the next month, and then $100 the next, $1,000 the next, $5,000 again the next month, and then back to $500, what's that going to feel like in that business? It's going to be pretty unpredictable, right? If you're thinking about employing someone, you're not going to be able to do that unless you've got the cash in the bank, because you don't know if you've got enough money. You can kind of work it out averagely and kind of figure out, yeah, averagely speaking, we should be able to afford it. But that's not very hopeful. You don't want to hire someone just to fire them because you've got no money, right? And even as far as going to buy equipment goes, it's if you need repayments on a camera because you've overspent, and I always say get the best clients first before you get the best gear, because those clients will pay for the gear. But if you've gone and just bought the latest camera gear and you're currently having to try and pay that back, that's going to be a very scary situation to be in, and that's going to hamper your business growth. So the only real predictable way to grow your business is by having this retainer, this regular monthly recurring revenue to really help grow your business. So for the next 12 months, you've got that coming in. And the great thing about this is it's super scalable. You have one client paying you $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 for the year. You then sign another client at $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year, but it's not. It's now $2,000 a month just from 2 clients and $24,000 a year. So when you start to add these, it's compounding all the time. Of course, it's not the right fit for every client, and sometimes you'll be in a situation where actually you just keep continuing to work with clients on ad hoc basis, and that's fine. Probably half of our clients are contracted and half of them are on an ad hoc basis. Sometimes it's just not the right fit. But if you can start to mellow out those feast and famine moments, this will start to provide some kind of consistency. Business is never going to be without its peaks and troughs, but you just want to make sure those troughs are always above your break-even point and above the baseline of money that you're trying to make. And this solution provides that for you as well. You know, we're all about transparency on this channel, and the main thing that I forgot to do, and the reason I lost over $150,000 worth of contracts, is in this video. So if you're intrigued and want to make sure you avoid this mistake, then click this video now and take a look. If you've got 2 hours, check the link in the description. The free training event will provide you with so much information and loads more value. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace.